single person who has ever failed at a goal had motivation at the beginning. Every single one. The runner who quit by February, the entrepreneur who never launched, the person who started the diet on Monday and abandoned it by Thursday. They all felt it. That electric rush, that fire in the chest, that absolute certainty that this time would be different. And yet, here we are. If motivation is so powerful, why does it keep losing? By the end of this video, you'll understand something that most people spend years learning the hard way. And it will permanently change the way you approach everything you want to build in your life. Let's start with what nobody tells you about motivation. It feels like fuel. It looks like the beginning of a transformation, but motivation is not a resource you store. It's a reaction. It's your brain responding to novelty, to excitement, to the imagined version of who you could become. And like every reaction, it fades. The gym is packed in January. By March, you can walk straight to your favorite machine. That's not weakness, that's biology. Your brain stops releasing dopamine for things that are no longer new, no longer uncertain, no longer thrilling. Motivation was never designed to carry you through the middle, only to get you started. Here's what most people do when motivation disappears. They wait for it to come back. They scroll through inspirational quotes. They watch another video about discipline. They give themselves a pep talk. And sometimes it works for a day, maybe two. Then it's gone again. This cycle has a name, and it's not laziness as you may be thinking. It's called motivational dependency, and it is quietly destroying more potential than any lack of talent ever could. The real problem isn't that you can't stay motivated. The problem is that you were taught to rely on something that was never built to last. Now, here's the question that changes everything. What do people who actually achieve their goals have that you don't? It's not more willpower, it's not more passion, it's not some rare genetic gift for consistency. It's structure, it's a system, a set of behaviors so deliberately designed that they don't require you to feel ready, to feel inspired, or to feel anything at all. They just happen. And that gap, that one between the person who waits to feel motivated and the person who builds a system, is the exact distance between where you are and where you want to be. A system is not a routine. Let's be precise here, because this distinction matters more than it sounds. A routine is something you do repeatedly. A system is something designed to produce a specific outcome regardless of your emotional state. A routine says, I run every morning. A system says, my running shoes are next to my bed. My route is saved. My alarm is labeled with my goal, and missing one day automatically triggers a recovery protocol. One depends on you remembering and deciding. The other removes the decision entirely, and every decision you have to make is a door where motivation can walk out. Think about the people who you admire most, the ones who seem to produce, create, build, and grow without burning out. Look closer. You'll find that they are not more motivated than you. They are more systematic. James Clear documented this in his research on habits. The environment shapes behavior more than intention does. The writer who publishes consistently doesn't sit down every morning full of creative energy. They sit down because that is what happens at that hour, in that chair, with that coffee, in that silence. The system has made the behavior automatic. Motivation is irrelevant by then. But here's where it gets uncomfortable, and stay with this, because this is the part most people skip. Building a system means accepting something emotionally difficult. That your feelings about doing the work are not a valid reason to skip it. And for many people, that feels cold, almost robotic. We've been told so many times to follow our passion and do what makes us feel alive that we've confused emotional alignment with productive output. You don't need to feel aligned, you need to show up. The feeling follows the action far more reliable than the action follows the feeling. This isn't motivational language, it's neuroscience. Behavior first, emotion second. So what does a system actually look like in practice? It has three non-negotiable elements. First, it has a trigger, a specific cue that starts the behavior automatically. Something in your environment or a schedule that signals this is when this happens. Second, it has a protected container, a time, place, and condition that is non-negotiable where nothing else is allowed to compete for your attention. Third, it has a recovery mechanism, a clear answer to what happens when I miss a day, because systems built without a recovery plan collapse at the first obstacle. Most people build the first, forget the second, and never even think about the third. That's why their systems fail within 2 weeks. Here's the part that will either set you free or make you uncomfortable, depending on where you are right now. Motivation is not something that happens to some people and not others. It visits everyone equally and briefly. The difference is not who gets more of it, it's who has built something that doesn't need it. Every time you have waited to feel ready, you have handed the decision to a falling that was never designed to show up consistently. Every time you built a structure that made starting easier than stopping, you took that decision away from your emotions and gave it to your architecture. That is not discipline, that is design. And this is where the real emotional weight of this topic lives. Because underneath all the failed goals, the abandoned projects, the cycles of starting and stopping, there is a quiet shame that most people carry. A voice that says, I just don't have what it takes. But that voice is wrong, and it is wrong in the most specific way. It is blaming character for what is actually a structural problem. You don't need more motivation, you never did. You need a system that works when you don't want to, and a recovery plan for the days when even the system feels heavy. The people who win in the long run are not the ones who burn the brightest at the start. They are the ones who build something small, reliable, and almost boring, and then let time do the rest. Motivation is a spark. Systems are the engine. Sparks are beautiful, but they don't get you anywhere unless something is built to catch them. So here's where we close the loop. At the beginning of this video, the real question wasn't whether motivation works. It does, for about 72 hours. The real question was, what carries you after that? Now you know, a system doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need your enthusiasm. It doesn't wait for the right moment. It runs because you built it to run. And that is the only kind of consistency that produces results that last. Stop waiting to feel ready. Build a structure that makes ready irrelevant.